In meditation or prayer, the most important aspect is always the degree of intimacy. The great masters are always in a state of great intimacy while engaging in life. They remained in a state of intimacy. Many call that intimacy bliss, but it's for our time, in our lexicon of language in the West, it's important to call that intimacy, because in those times being intimate was ostensibly a more natural thing. And in our world, it's not natural. People are very removed and guarded. The masters were always very intimate with everything that they took upon and they experienced. For example, if they would eat, then they would be intimate with the food that they were eating. They would recognize, what they are doing and take a moment to be thankful, or at least express an appreciation, an expression of joy, something of intimacy in what they were doing. And they lived their lives quite intimately, whether it was in study or in riding in a carriage. It was all about intimacy, because the human being is most powerful in their intimacy. And I know it looks otherwise. I know that we walk around our world and powerful men do not, or women, do not feel comfortable being intimate. They believe that's a weakness and they lose their power being intimate. But understand that they are responding to weakness. And because they are weak, they're trying to compensate by obtaining and controlling with power. And they are quite vulnerable and weak from a spiritual dimension. And they've lost their free will long ago with the addictions that they've made because of their fears and their need for control. They're afraid of the future or what can happen, so they try to control the variables in their lives, and their thirst for control is insatiable, for it is impossible for an individual to control everything in their lives. And if they try to do so, they are, after a period of time, very spiritually weakened and have partnered with baser energies of negativity that make them feel powerful, but ostensibly are nurturing themselves like a parasite off the person's energy. And so for these people, we send out our hearts and our thoughts and our prayers that they receive a glimpse of freedom to choose love and intimacy. We're here in this circle. We're entering into a space of co-creation. Now, all people, all men, women are constantly co-creating. Some are co-creating passively, and others are co-creating actively. The individuals that are co-creating passively are partnering with baser energies, and those negative energies are coming from their resonance, from their heart. Negative feelings, feelings of fear, feelings of helplessness, feelings of anger, feelings of want, feelings of need, feelings of lust. These negative feelings, they broadcast a beacon for their new partners, their new energies they'll be partnering with. And the new partners that they get are the resonances that resonate in the same cadences of what they are broadcasting. So it is no wonder that people, when they are in passive co-creation, They feel very powerful, but they're truly not in power at all. They are merely in a state of persistent reaction, and they're only reacting to variables that come their way, and they're reacting to the energies that they find empowering. They're reacting to the needs and wants of those energies. Those energies only know, command and control, dominate, want, need, insatiable appetites for oppression, to control, to glean, to take. And they also, these energies, have no interest in the happiness of the individual they're working with, and therefore eventually destruction. The individual who's partnered with baser energies, they enter into cycles that get more and more drastic. Cycles, addictive behaviors. And these behaviors could start out very benign, but to the degree that the person is resonating their existential angst, these behaviors become more extreme. So individuals may start off mildly gambling, but end up with a gambling problem. An individual might start out mildly drinking and end up with a drinking problem. An individual may start out being addicted to telling people what's on their mind. And before they know it, they've alienated everyone in their circle. There are all sorts of qualities that people enter. They are co-creating, but they are passively co-creating. They're not in a state of active co-creation. And therefore, a person who aligns himself with the higher love of all does not resent these people. We feel bad for their suffering, and we feel bad for what they're going through and how they're compelled to act. But they are not free. So instead, we envision them in freedom, them aligned with their higher self. We recognize them as awakened individuals that are actively co-creating, that are choosing what they are doing and not just reacting to the minutiae that's flowing around them. They're choosing love. I want to explain this clearly because the concept of control is it's a very, very relevant one in our world. And really, when it comes down to it, really, truly, there's only one thing a human being can control, that's in their power to fully control, that can't be stripped away from them, that can't be taken from them, that's not temporal, that's not material, that's not in a state of death and dying. There's one thing that's everlasting, that is beyond the touch of any other being or human being, and that's called love. How we love, how we choose to love, that energy, that's divine. It can never be taken away. Active co-creation. Why is it active? Because when you enter into the frequencies, the higher cadences of love, at those times, the baser frequencies, the baser, more negative energies, are restricted from being around you. They have no access. They can't have access to you because your light that you are resonating is too strong and too powerful for them. Instead, this light opens up your portal of empathy, and in doing so banishes your shame, which you've used to restrict yourself spiritually from transcendence. And in opening that transcendent portal, you open up an opportunity to reunite with your higher self, what I call your higher self collective. For your higher self has many splinters. Many of them had had many journeys in this world before. They have much knowledge to teach you and impart to you. They have much wisdom and much grace, for they are living through your eyes. You're on the front lines of creation, and they stand there waiting for you to get in a space of grace so they could speak in the language that only you recognize and tell you in your heart who you are and where you are headed.